Hey everybody, it's a very sad night. I just heard that my favorite drummer has passed away, Neil Peart of Rush. I've been following Rush since I was in junior high school in the 80s, early 80s, actually 1980 or somewhere thereabouts. So, so God bless Neil and rest in peace. He definitely changed my life, as did Rush. And I'll never forget you or your band or your music. I have enough Rush to last me the rest of my life, so I'm not worried about it. Okay, tonight I noticed that every time my burner went on, I was getting some drips out of this pipe, which comes off this 30 psi pressure relief valve. Now, I am not an expert, but I try to fix things myself to save money. Okay, so I was looking into replacing this valve, but then I learned that the expansion tank, which is down here, this is from 2004, so it's like 16 years old. This could be the culprit, and this thing weighs a ton. I think it's filled with about 4.5 gallons of water. It's not supposed to be filled with water. There's a bladder here that's supposed to push the water back. There's an air chamber, and then a chamber where the water comes in. And so the water goes in, and then the pressure here pushes it back into the system. And the pressure here is around 12 psi in my system. So to do this, you need to isolate this, because this is all under pressure now. So here's my drain valve. But before you drain your burner, you need to shut your supply off. So this little valve here is my supply line that goes into the burner down there. Now, every system is different, and every system is similar. Now, what I'm going to also have to do is shut my 3 zones off. I have 3 circulating pumps, and there are 3 valves here. One is a 90-degree valve. 2, 3, because I don't want all the water from my 3 circuits to come down into then I'm going to have to purge the system of air, and I don't want to do that, so I'm going to shut these 3. I believe this is the right way to do this from what I've read. So, why purge the system? Purge the system of air means to get the air out of the system, because it's not going to work right. So the way this works is these pumps, the water comes down here through these pumps. It pumps through the burner, gets hot, and then it comes out of here and then goes out these 3 pipes to my 3 zones in this particular house. This is a hydronic system. I have radiators, hot, forced hot water. So if this pressure valve is leaking, it may not be bad. So try to change this. I just went to Home Depot and bought one for $40. And they didn't have the extra, but I'll show you what I bought. Stay tuned. Okay, here's the one I bought. Pro Flex 2, 8 model HTX30. I have some tools here. I read the manual. It's got the correct thread on it there. This is a valve, just like similar to a tire valve. And this particular item is pre-charged to 12 psi, which most hydronic systems are, so you don't have to do anything with this, so don't touch it. All you have to do is unscrew this to take this warranty piece of paper off of it. So I'll just show you that it's just a valve. So don't let any air out of it, because it's pressurized for 12 psi, which is most systems are running off of 12 psi. Okay, I'm going to cut for a moment and I'll be right back. Oh, before I do that, you're going to need some buckets and a drain hose, like a garden hose. I have one with a valve on it. You don't need that, but because you're going to have to drain your boiler of water, so you're just going to have your standard old garden hose connector here Make sure you have your washer in there. And that's basically it. So this should be a 5-minute job. Famous last words. Okay, hold on. I'll be back. Okay, so here I am. Just I'm going to screw this onto here. That comes right out of the bottom of the boiler. This is a gas-fired boiler. It's a great boiler. Very efficient. Okay, let me pause. Okay, so you got to shut your burner off. I already shut this. There are usually 2 switches in series, so just for safety, they're both off now. I'm going to isolate my zones. Wait, before I isolate the zones, let me think about this. Isolate the zones, then shut my cold water supply off, which is this blue valve here. So let's do that. Please don't break, valve. Please don't break. Okay. My zones are isolated. I'm going to shut off my cold water. Please don't break, valve. Incidentally, I do have another valve up in the ceiling in the joists. In case this valve fails, I could run over there. Okay, now I'm going to empty the burner. Here's my bucket. Okay, not much there because this pipe feeds into the burner, so the only water is whatever's in these pipes. Okay, so that's it. Not much came out of here, so it's safe to take this tank off. There's no pressure. So close that. I'm going to pause a moment. Okay, now that there's no pressure, I'm going to unscrew the old tank. I have to put the camera down to do this, but you can use an adjustable wrench on that. Before I take the old tank off, I'm going to just put some Teflon tape on these threads so it won't leak. Okay, I put my tape on there, and just make sure you wrap it properly. I left it loose so you could see. You wrap it this way, so when you're screwing this on, when you're screwing this on, goes with the tape and doesn't like undo it. Just makes it tighter. Okay, so there's the Teflon tape on the threads. Okay, so since we're kind of looking at this upside down, loosening appears to be tightening and tightening appears to be loosening. So I have to turn this wrench in the direction of where my finger is pointing to loosen. So I'm going to pause this and then remove the old tank. I'm sure it'll be heavy. It feels like it's filled with about 4 gallons of water, or 4.5 gallons. Okay, she's loose now, see? I'm going to have to put this camera down because this thing feels very heavy. And just one tap on the wrench, that relieves a lot of stress from the other piping. You just tap it like an impact wrench, and it'll loosen the threads for you. All right, I'm going to unscrew this, and I have my bucket on standby here to put it in, because it feels very heavy. I got water coming out here. I'm not sure why. So I'm just going to work a little fast to get the other tank on. Maybe I didn't drain the burner good enough. Okay. I got the new one on here. You can see I can just turn it by hand. And I'm going to shut the camera off to tighten it. Then I'm going to open the fill. Open the fill valve, which is, where is it? Oh, right here on mine. That comes down. Okay. You usually have one of these valves, pressure reducer valves. That's your fast fill. I'm not going to use that. Leave it on auto. And so I'm just going to tighten this. Fill the system with water. Open my zones. And then see if I no longer get water out of this pressure relief valve. Okay, hold on. Okay, here's my basement stairs switch. Put that on. Good. 120. Good. Okay, so I'm going to throw the switch here. And I'm sure some of the thermostats are going to call for heat because they've been off for about a half hour now. It's not a cold night, but it's not a hot night. Winter in New York. It's kind of mild day today in the 60s. Okay, let's put this on. Oh yeah, I got one zone there calling for heat. So if this leaks, and there might be some residual water in it, there could be some residual drips in it. But if it leaks considerably, well, not considerably, but if it drips fast, like it did when my burner turned on, cycled on, then this tank was not the only problem, or wasn't the problem at all, and I'm going to have to change this pressure relief valve up here. Okay, I'm going to pause it because I'm going to run out of memory here. So far, so good. It would have started dripping by now because that water's getting hot and pressure's building up. Okay, so success with this, because the burner just shut off after being on for about 5 minutes, and this thing would have been dripping like crazy, this relief valve here. So I don't think the valve is damaged, so we'll play it by ear. I don't know if that's an old drip just from water being up in here and the burner turning on, but if that's bad, that's going to have to be changed. But this thing would be dripping a lot faster right now, so I think I made a big improvement by putting on the new tank. A lot of people put the date on here, which I'm going to do. I could feel it's hot because the hot water probably, went into the tank as it's supposed to. Oh, everybody, please excuse me for my tired voice, but I just wanted to give you an update. It's now 1:16, so it's 6 days later than when I put in this tank, and look, next to no dripping from my pressure relief valve. So I think this thing is, I think I'm happy with this now. Maybe the valve reseated properly, or maybe the system pressure went down. I'm not really sure, but I do know that this is looking really good right now.